What's up, YouTube? It's Chris from Universe X. I was just trying to actually get back into content that I actually started this channel doing, which is Dragon Ball Super news. So I know I'm way behind on this one, but just in case that you've had your head under a rock or you've been a little differently prioritized after Nats like I have, I just wanted to show some stuff, and I'm going to be going through all of Clash of Fate before I start working on set 6. So, just asking, again, as always, to like, comment, subscribe, tell other people in case you want to have all the information right here. This is where, of course, you just need to be. So, that being said, today we're going to start with the red in Clash of Fate. And on the other side of the screen, you'll see the cards I'm looking at what time, so you can kind of follow along. So, that being said, let's hop right into it. The first card I was going to talk about was actually Frieza, and he's the leader card for this. Basically, the Frieza card, activate main once per turn. Choose one card from your life, add it to your hand. Look up at the top 2 cards from your deck and choose up to 1 red Frieza's army card amongst them, add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. Generic, well actually I would say generic, but it's not generic. It's the split. It's the untap 1, draw 1. Awakening at 4 life or less. Then its flip side says when this card attacks, draw 1 card, just like normal, and then activate main. Choose 1 red Frieza's army card in your battle area and KO it. Then choose 1 card in your hand and place it into your drop area. This card gains plus 5,000 until the end of your opponent's turn. Okay, so couple things here. I think that the front side very much so limits deck building, but then again, this is a themed pack, so it's not exactly set to be the most splashable. You know, you're supposed to play in set. I'm sure this will be a very fun leader to play in draft or sealed, but because it's red Frieza's army and the only place we know of getting red Frieza's army is this set, that does kind of make it a little problematic for just thinking about its depth outside of just Clash of Fate. However, the effect seems pretty cool on the front side, and I was saying before, when I saw the spoilers for some of these things that got leaked and some of the stuff at Nats, I was like, well, unless we get red Frieza's army that give you no procs when they get sacked, this is going to be a huge minus. And we'll talk a little bit more about that a little later in. But the card getting 5,000 is interesting. That's going to be a great deterrent versus these low to the ground wide attacker decks. And then on top of that, if you were playing red-blue, you can get a lot out of it with Sensu. But that's pretty much that. Limited leader, but I definitely kind of like the flavor of it. Frieza's ruthless. Frieza sacrifices their pawns. Next, Frieza, Storm of Blows. They're introducing Swap to red, if you haven't already heard the news, and it's just with the Frieza. And I like it a lot because instead of doing, I mean, they can't do like, you know, Union Absorb, there's no Patara, there's no Fusion, so it was kind of cool to go through Frieza's forms, they would use Swap. I think that's neat. Frieza Storm of Blows, 1500 3-drop. Has Barrier, it swaps up to 5 for 2 energy, and it has an auto that when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's cards with 20,000 less attack, KO it. Destruction, Barrier, Swap. I hate 2 out of 3 of those things, but overall, I like the flavor of the card. Frieza players will be a little happier with that. Evolutionary Process Frieza. It's got Swap 3 for 1 red, and during your opponent's turn, it goes down to a 10k from its normal 15k. Kind of a weak card, doesn't have barrier, so you can't really leave it on the field. That's a susceptible part of the chain. But the 1-drop that they have, which is what we're going to move on to next, the Frieza Overture to Battle, is their Grandpa Gohan, essentially. It comes down for 1, swap up to 2 for free, and auto, when you play this card from your hand, choose up to 1 of your red leader cards or red battle cards, it gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So just a little bit of pump to add to your aggression. And it says other than this card, so you can't use it, then bring out the 2-drop that goes up to 20k at this point now. It's not like that dumb, but you could definitely add a little pressure onto your leader swing that turn. And you already know, forcing cards out of your opponent's hand can be the difference between, you know, them having it later and just the plays they can make the next turn. So that's pretty neat. Then, we're moving on, we've got Body Change Ginyu, easily one of my favorite cards in this reveal. Auto, when you play this card, choose all Ginyu Force cards in your battle area, and they gain 10,000 power until for the duration of the turn. Activate main, place this card in the owner's drop area. play this card in your opponent's battle area, all right, with its skill negated. Then choose up to one of your opponent's cards, battle cards at least, with 20,000 less power, take it, turn it to active mode. That is hilarious. It is literally like, change now, like body change, and you can jack your opponent's cards. I think that's incredibly flavorful, and I think if you pay attention to the cards they release, Dragon Ball Super is mostly flavor. They want cards to do or feel, you know, like they're the same characters from the show. So I definitely love this gimmick, and it's hilarious. Furthermore, if people start playing yellow, red Ginyu, a little hard because you'll see some of the other ones are very red restricted, but I definitely think that this will be one of those cards that you'd want to play. It's excellent. Just 2-color investment, give all your stuff plus 10,000. That's nothing small. And it's also Ginyu Force, so, you know, if you were to play the big Ginyu, this could come down in multiples, and that's disgusting. There's a whole chunk of them with the Strike Force tag. Strike Force Raccoon, he has double strike. Strike Force Birder, critical. Strike Force Jace, super combo. And it's the only one that doesn't have the next effect I'm going to talk about. Strike Force Goldo has barrier. Now, the thing that they all have, though, is, except the super combo, when you play this card from your hand, if all your battle cards are red and no other color, see, that's the really restrictive part. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose one red Ginyu Force, another restriction, and with a card cost of energy 2 or less, play it. Then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. You don't lose any cards from the search, but it has to be a red Ginyu, and that makes it very hard to use like that. Well, it makes it very hard to use outside of the set, and that's what makes me really sad, because I was thinking that red yellow Ginyu would be the hotness, and there's still some cards you can use in here. Now, going back up a little bit, the Jace is a super combo, but he's back to the 4 life or less, or 5 life or less, draw 1 card, and it gains 10,000. So for some reason, I don't know whether they intended to do this or whether they were already making these cards partially before they decided that the new super combos from set 5 would always have 10k, but they took that back. Or maybe they thought that was too busted, and so they re-rolled it, and we'll get super combos further down the line that just don't have the 10k at all times. Who knows? Dodoria the Expendable. Now, these are the ones I'm very excited about. Blocker, 2-drop. When this card is KO'd, choose up to 1 red Frieza card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand, play it. Okay? And Super Zarbon, just a 30k beefcake, 3 cost, 30k vanilla. Zarbon Hidden Potential. When this card is KO'd, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gains minus 15k power for the duration of the turn. And I think that is actually really, 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 really cool. I actually really wanted to bring out Frieza, like Golden Frieza, because I wanted to show an interaction. Oh, happy day. So here is the box I wanted. And this box has, like, as you can see, just, if the leader's created, it's in here. Except for those metal plated ones that, you know, came from Nats, because shout outs to my boy Jordan, but I didn't want one. I might have scrubbed out. Not hard enough not to get the, like, top half mat, but it's a top half mat, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a welfare mat. The thing is, though, one thing that I really like about these cards is that they kind of give this dude a little more to work with. You know what I'm saying? Once per turn, place one of your Frieza's army battle cards in the drop area, choose up to 1 of your energy, switch to active mode, then draw a card. And the backside, if you guys remember, if it just doesn't fly out of my hand like that, does the same thing, except you untap 2 energy. So the possibilities are hilarious, you know? When this card is KO'd, draw 1 card. And, you know, it says place 1. Hold up. I might have to rewind a little bit. Scrolling up, I think the leader says KO 1 of your cards. There we go. There we go. So I guess I can just take my hopes and dreams of synergistic plays and just put them in the trash can, because I thought we were doing cool things and instead we are not doing cool things. So I guess I'm just going to throw all my hopes and dreams for yellow-red Frieza's army out the window, and I'll go back and just saying that at least with this leader, it's kind of cool. You can have, you know, other people KO your stuff. They'll have to think a little harder about KOing your stuff, or you could force it with your leader. There was an SR, I believe, that was kind of spoiled during Nats. People were taking pictures, and it allowed you to bloodlust your opponent's cards by just tributing a Frieza's army. So these kind of give you, you know, the plus. You can tribute your Dodoria and just put out another card with 2 or less, which could be another Dodoria. Or you could, you know, put out your Zarbon, and, or not Zarbon, because Zarbon's 2. So yeah, you can put out your Zarbon too and just have him on the board for another tributing effect. And I think that's really, really cool. Moving on, there's going to be these feature rares. These feature rares are not SRs. Those have not been released. Some of them were shown at Nats. But the Strategic Mind Kikono is just a Dragon Ball Super Broly card, feature rare put into the set, because they're going to spread out. They're not going to have like a set. They're going to spread out some of this stuff too. Looks amazing, by the way, even if the card's kind of questionable. Suspect. If you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards, then it gets plus 5,000 or minus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. You can't play Strategic Mind Kikono for the duration of the turn. So that's not bad. You know, you play him, you put your opponent at 10k, you tribute them for whatever effect you may need, and you just keep going. And you can possibly just, you know, etch out a lot of cards from your opponent's hand because the math changes. Raccoon, Ultra Fighting Bomber. Another reason why I was like kind of psyched about this red-yellow possible Ginyu combination. If a Raccoon is in play in your battle area, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15k or less power, ignoring barrier, and KO it. I love anything that says ignoring barrier. And I understand that some of the things that have barrier are a little harder to deal with because they're above that 15k, but I feel like this is always going to be some nice little stuff. And if there is a deck that has some barrier cards and people do play red, yellow, Ginyu, this is just a little cool sniping card. And even without barrier, you can KO important setup cards with just a single energy in a Raccoon on the field. I love it. Frieza Spaceship. It's a field card. Costs 2 instead of the 1 we're normally used to. At the end of your turn, choose up to 1 red Frieza's army card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your hand and play it. If you played a card with this skill, draw 1 card. At the end of the turn, you cheat something in, you replace it in your hand, and with that SR that I told you that was spoiled, you can tribute that card. You can have it on field to tribute itself, or to get tributed for the Bloodlust Frieza. So I think that's actually excellent. It's great synergy. You just cheat something in, you didn't have to play energy to do it, you sack it for Frieza, and if it's Dodoria or Zarbon, you have additional effects. And then the last red card in here, Paralysis Technique. Counterattack. Negate the attack, and if your leader card is a red Frieza's army, choose you choose your opponent's leader cards and all of their battle cards, and they get minus 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So this could wipe out a lot of weenies that your opponent could be hoping to keep for combo power. There's a lot of cool stuff here, but the uncool part is that they still are putting choose all on cards, knowing that barriers around, and at first you could have thought that they were just doing it for funds, or they didn't realize the interaction. Now you just know they don't care. So that is that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think tomorrow I can put out the next color, which is blue, and we'll just try those out. Maybe over the next 2 days I'll have all of Clash of Fates out, because in exchange for not putting out content, I need to kind of burst out content. So in that case, I hope you guys liked it. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.